it's true that we've just made a really exciting gold discovery in Namibia, and we're in the process of developing that. And it's also true that we can make more of those, but I can assure you it's not easy. So I'll tell you some about that and how we got to this point. So before I go into the details, I just wanted to tell the story a little bit about how we got to this point, because Osino didn't just come about by accident. So I'm a mining engineer, I'm a Namibian citizen, I'm the founder of this company, I'm the CEO, and I had my first win in 2012, also in Namibia, when I sold a company to B2Gold for $200 million, or just under $200 million. And that was a project that I didn't discover, but that I sort of uncovered using Canadian capital. We bought that project. It was called Otjikoto. It is now owned by B2Gold. It's their Namibian production. It's about 20% of their value and production. And so what I did is I bought it with about 1.5 million ounces with my Canadian partners, and we drilled it and advanced it and ended up selling it to B2, who then built a very successful gold mine that kind of put Namibia on the map. And so after that, I thought, let me try and do it again, and that's really what Osino is and where Osino comes from. Of course, unfortunately, the market's turned in the meantime, a couple of years of difficulty of raising money, but in the last 2 or 3 years, we've been getting a lot of traction. So just sort of on the corporate side, I guess the essence of what we are is we have delivered value before. After I sold that company, I had another successful deal where I became the sort of turnaround CEO of an Ecuadorian developer, which I ended up merging with a Ross Beatty company. So in that process, Ross took a liking to me, and he became my sort of cornerstone investor. So he owns 15% of Osino. And it was only with him, really, that I was able to raise about $10 million in the last 5 years, or 3 years, 4 years. And we were able to do this technical work, which ultimately culminated in this discovery that we've just done. So we know what we're doing. We've raised money before, we've built companies, and we've sold companies. And the idea here with Osino is to do that again. We want to build something substantial and then sell it. We're in a great jurisdiction. I'm in Namibia. I'm a Namibian myself, so of course I'm comfortable there. But for those of you who haven't been, imagine it to be like Nevada. It's very organized, very peaceful, very accessible. You can drill all year round. It's cheap to operate. So it's a great place to be. And importantly for a junior is, of course, the financial backing. So we have not just Ross Beatty, we've got a bunch of other real quality shareholders. And we actually just completed a $15 million financing, $14 million financing a couple of weeks ago. So we're well set up for intensive work in the next year or two. Share prices traded up and down. You can see the graph over there. We re-rated on that discovery, which we announced in August last year. And then in January, we announced some follow-on results, which give us a lot of confidence in what we've discovered. So I really do believe that this discovery has legs and is going to go places. Otherwise, share structure is straightforward. We've got some warrants and pretty straightforward. So I'm the CEO. I've got a very good Canadian partner, Alan Friedman. He's a public markets sort of veteran. He's done a lot of deals, and he guides me in sort of what we do here in Toronto, especially in terms of raising money. I'm based down in Africa, and I'm very focused on execution and getting things done. But it's not promoters like myself who make discoveries. Discoveries are made by quality technical people. So I've got 2 very good geologists with a lot of experience, sort of big company credentials. They're ex-BHP and Newmont, AngloGold. And those guys basically implemented this real quality exploration program, which resulted in this discovery, and which is going to result in this project being advanced and grown. So just very briefly on Namibia, it's an emerging belt. It hasn't traditionally been seen to be a gold jurisdiction. It has 2 operating gold mines. One is owned by B2Gold, and the other one is used to be owned by Anglo. It's owned by a private equity group, and we are sort of in between, bookended by these 2. We've taken an orogenic approach, meaning structural, so that informs how we explore. And Namibia is largely covered. You would have seen that on the first slide. So that makes exploration quite difficult. And John was referring to this technique that he says we'll keep on giving, which was generous. But effectively, we have adapted Western Australian exploration techniques to see through cover, so to speak, which has resulted in this discovery. And you know, this cover in Namibia, I think, is one of the big reasons why not more has been found in the past. But I think that will change in the future, and I think our company is at the forefront of that. So we have initially we started off as a consolidation play. We put a very large land package of about 7,000 square kilometers together. The idea, I think I said it in the beginning, has always been to build something of scale that we can sell. I mean, I have built gold mines before when I worked for Anglo Gold, but I don't think that the juniors are necessarily the best companies to build mines. But I do think we are the best at finding mines and advancing them, and that's what we're focusing on. So in order to create something that we can sell, it has to have scale. But not just license position scale, but project scale. i.e. you need real meat on the bone. And that's what we've done with this discovery that I'll tell you about in a minute. So our flagship project is down in that square at the bottom. So down there, where we've consolidated basically an entire district. We have identified through geophysics a big regional structure. We've spent the last 2 or 3 years doing regional exploration and basically exploring along that structure through the cover, and ultimately made that discovery. And that's where sort of 80% of our effort is going. So this is just zooming into that area. Before I go there, I should just say that we are doing work on the other licenses too. We've got a big pipeline of projects that are earlier stage, which hopefully will keep on giving, as John said, but they are much earlier stage. So zooming into that district, what we call the Karibib district, that's what you're looking at here, sort of across that image. That's about 50 kilometers across. So there's a gold mine down there. That's about a 6 to 8 million ounce deposit that's in production. That's what brought us into that area. So again, initially we consolidated this area. We identified that big regional structure over there. We explored along it, and then we identified this big 15-kilometer gold system, which we drilled into at the middle of, in the last 6 months, which has resulted in those intersections that you can see there. So I'll just zoom into this diagram a bit more, into some detail. So that's the system over there. The red contour is the surface expression. You must remember it's all undercover. So that's just to give you a sort of a scale perspective. So a 15-kilometer system, what does that mean? Its surface expression is about double of what the other 2 mines in Namibia are. So it's large. And at the center of that, we have our discovery called Twin Hill Central. We've drilled about 30 holes into it so far, and we've had some really good intercepts. So we've drilled it over about 1 to 1.5 kilometers. And the focus for this year is to advance it from just being a discovery to hopefully an economically mineable resource. So we're going to do a lot of infill drilling, but also step-out drilling, expanding it, making it bigger, and hopefully in the next 12 to 18 months put out a significant maiden resource. When I say significant, it should be 1 to 2 million ounces at least. I think the sort of sweet spot or so where you want to be to get onto the radar screen of the materials is around 2 million ounces. So that's what we're aiming for. But I think the scope or the potential of this district is much bigger. It has true multi-million ounce potential, and the other 2 mines in the area have proven that. So that's Twin Hill Central, but even beyond that, on the rest of the trend, we're doing ongoing exploration, and we've got a very good chance of making additional discoveries. And so I should just mention again, of course, it's key to be well funded, and we're able to do this because we have these shareholders which have a long-term perspective, and they've given us the sort of breathing room to be able to do this. So that's just a bit more detail. I'll skim through these quickly. So that's the Twin Hill system itself. We've had an astonishing hit rate so far. In exploration, not every hole hits. Out of the 30, 40 that we've drilled, probably about a third have been excellent holes over quite a big area, quite continuous. So we have a lot of confidence that this project will go places. In terms of work program, quite intense, 25,000 meters of drilling this year, and then lots of other technical work, med test work, and sort of studies that will take us towards development. Lots of news flows, mainly based on the work program. And I see my time is coming to the end. Perfect. So just to remind, or to kind of recap that, so we know what we're doing. We've de-risked this project largely, both technically, I mean, we've made the discovery, but also financially. And we've got great backers and great pipeline of opportunities, and I think we're off to the races. So we're excited about 2020.